Okay, so I'm doing this little video to talk about on YouTube they tell us that we are supposed to talk about why we are on YouTube, what is the story of our channel, why we end up on YouTube, and we are supposed to speak about personal things. I didn't know that we had to do that. Actually, it's kind of difficult to speak of something personal. But I understand that the people who are watching my videos, by supposing there are some, I understand that they are wondering why, first why I'm French and I live in the US, what I'm doing here. Then they are probably wondering why I'm talking about painting and music. Who am I to talk about that? And you know nothing about me, so of course I imagine that I have to explain. It's not something easy, but I will try. I will try to explain as well as I can. So, why I'm French and why I'm in the US? I'm in Los Angeles, more exactly, in California. So, why I came to the US, the first thing is because I love Los Angeles. That was the first reason why I moved to Los Angeles. The second reason, it's the first time I came to LA, it was in 1997, and I fell in love with the city, and I wanted to come and live here, but it was not easy because we had my ex-husband and me and my kids. We had everything in France, in Paris, and we didn't have a lot of money to move to LA, and living to LA, it means some money. Here people are obsessed with money, so that was quite different from Paris for sure. And so we went back to, we were coming here just for vacation in summer. I started knowing LA really well, and I really wanted to live here, but how? I didn't know how. My ex-husband was a musician, composer, arranger, a programmer, and everything related to digital music. So it's very difficult to find a job in LA when you are not American. And I was an artist, but also I was teaching art and craft, and that is not something that the US especially need. They have quite enough, so it was kind of complicated. And then there was September 11, and it started being kind of weird in France. French people, I'm not going to say all French people because it's not true, but a lot of Parisians are very anti-Semite. They don't like Jews. Well, they don't like a lot of people actually. They don't like Jews, they don't like Americans, they don't like Arabs, they like nobody. And but it started being a problem for us because I'm Jew, my ex-husband is Jew too, and for me it was even harsher because I was born in Israel. And one day I saw these people demonstrating in the street just down my building. I was on my balcony, and I saw them burning an Israeli flag and an American flag and screaming, "We are all Palestinians." And I told my ex-husband, you know what, if they are all Palestinians, I have nothing to do here because it's not my place anymore, it's not my home. I'm not at home anymore. And I realized that I had to leave France, Paris. As sad as it could look, I used to love Paris. When I was younger, I loved Paris. I was so happy to live there. It's such a beautiful city, and everything is wonderful in Paris, except most of people. And I knew that I had to leave, and that I knew that I will probably never come back, at least in Europe maybe, but in France probably not. I know now that I will probably never go back there, because unless something changes, but you know, it was like that before, and it's again the same thing, and it's awful. I wanted to come to LA. Not that it's... there are probably some people who hate Jews to here, but it's not the same. We are more protected. It's bigger. Nobody cares. Nobody asks me if I'm Jewish or not. Nobody asks me where I was born. Some people ask me where I come from because of my French accent, but beside that, nobody cares. Everybody is foreigner here. It's a big melting pot anyway, so I feel more at home here than in Paris. That's pretty sad. My ex-husband was saying that he wanted to move too, but probably not as much as I wanted. I pushed him really hard, you know. We were supposed to leave in 2005. We found a solution, and I was supposed to open a shop here, and he was allowed to search for a job in the meantime while I was working in my shop. So everything was organized. My older son already left to Japan when we wanted to move to LA, because my older son always wanted to work in Japan. He loves Japan. My younger son was still in high school, and he wanted to come to LA too, so it was great. Everybody agreed on this decision, but obviously not. My husband was saying he wanted, but more I was packing, less he was ready. And at a point, about 3 weeks before we were supposed to leave, he said that he found someone else, younger, of course. Such a common story, you know. So, okay, I'm not going to talk too much about that. I mean, it's old, it's the past. I'm over it now. I'm good, I'm good. And I don't really want to blame my ex-husband, because things happen, you know. He fell in love with someone else, and it's something which can happen to anybody, I think. He's not a bad guy. He was not the kind of cheating on me all the time, no. So he put a lot of thoughts in that. He didn't do it lightly like that. But I think that the fact that I wanted to move to LA was a big factor, a big no-no for him. You know, he was scared, and I was not. So when it happened in 2005, I was really bad. It's the least we can say. It was beyond being depressed. It was so beyond being depressed that I actually had a big depression, and I got some help from people who were really good, who helped me, because I had a problem. I couldn't even paint, I couldn't do anything, any craft, nothing. It was, my mind was like blank, you know, like completely empty, and like I had no idea of anything. Nothing was inspiring me. I couldn't even remember how to hold a brush, you know, and how to apply a paint. It's like, ooh. wow. Um, I was not motivated to do anything. I was really in bad shape, and so I got some help from people, doctors. I mean, very good, very good. And 1 year later, I decided that I was going to leave to LA, and because my younger son was okay to come with me. If my younger son hadn't wanted to come to LA, I would have stayed in France, because there was no way that I would have left my son behind me, no way. But he really wanted to come, so to go to LA. So I said, okay, let's do it. My son and I, my younger son and I, and we did it. And I opened my store. Well, we spent 3 years searching for the right place. He was finishing high school, so he did that by mail. And he also went to Fairfax High School, because I wanted him to be surrounded by people of his age, and I didn't want him to be in a adult life so soon. And it was back and forth between Paris and Los Angeles. At the beginning, every 3 months, and then it was every 6 months. My visa was denied once, and I started again, and I asked again. I'm very obstinate. I really wanted to live here. It was very hard. We didn't know where we were living anymore. We spent more time in the plane than... Actually, our home was the plane. We were spending time at, you know, Roissy Charles de Gaulle, Heathrow, because we were traveling with British Airways. They are so much nicer than Air France and cheaper. So we spent a lot of time in Heathrow and, of course, LAX. And sometimes I was in the plane, I couldn't even know where I was going. Where do I go? I don't remember. Oh, okay, I go back to Paris, okay. Oh, it was crazy. 3 years like that. We were like travelers, yes. And finally, I got my visa. It was incredible. It was my first victory after the big catastrophe in my life. Yeah. So then I opened my shop here. I was busy with my shop, and you know, when you have this kind of visa, you have to ask every 2 years the permission to stay. So it's more paperwork, more administration, showing that your store is still open, that you are making enough money, that you must pay someone else. It's not only money for you and the family, but it's also, you have to have an employee or someone working, even if it's part-time for you. My shop doesn't make so much money, so it's kind of hard, but doable, still doable. You know, I always dreamt of having a shop, but the immigration part makes the thing much more difficult, because you don't have to worry about only the business and make it work. You also have to worry about what the immigration is going to say, and sometimes you take decisions which are absolutely the contrary of what you would do normally, just to please the immigration, which is kind of stupid. Anyway, I'm not going to redo the laws, the US laws. It's like that. I chose it. But you know, nobody has to cry over me, because I'm a very lucky woman. Some people have so much less luck than I have, and some people are starving, some people don't have a roof, some people are sick. I have nothing of that. I'm fine now. Everything is fine. I'm not depressed anymore. I sleep, I eat, everything is fine. I got over it. I spent so much energy in my shop and working for the immigration that I didn't have the time to think, actually. Professionally, I learned so much. I grew up so much here. I don't regret one thing. It's incredible how we grow up in the US, because in France we are used to be so, how we say that, assisted. I mean, the government helps you if you don't have a job. They give you money, and please don't find a job, and you are nothing, and you can't succeed anyway, and it's so down. They drag you down so much, and when you arrive here, it's like, do it. You are free to do whatever you want, and it works. Actually, when you try hard, something is working. I don't regret one thing. Even if tomorrow the immigration tells me that I can stay in this country, I'm so happy to have had this experience. I won't go back to France. If I couldn't stay here, I would probably move or to England or to Canada, one or the other, but and not Quebec, I mean Canada, English Canada. So why I'm allowed to speak of art and music? Art, I was drawing when I was 2. I drew before I was writing. I studied economics. I have a bachelor degree in economics, which has nothing to do with art. But I always had a job related to art and doing economics, accountancy, numbers in the same time, all the time. But at a point I started doing only art, because I started doing demonstrations, art and craft demonstration in a famous shop in Paris, selling art and craft supplies. I wrote a book about art and craft, about recycling objects. It was released by a publisher in France. I will show you the book. I have my books in my shop. I'm in my house right now. So I will show you my book in another video. It was released in 1999, if I remember well. I think I will do another book. I will write another book. It's an art and craft book. It's not a novel or anything like that. I don't write novels. It's only a do-it-yourself book. I like teaching. I used to have workshops in my studio in Paris, and I had a lot of articles in home decor magazines. I wrote articles in home decor and art and craft magazines. What did I do else? I used to decorate windows in shops. I used to do murals on the shops. I exhibited art, fine art, my paintings in different countries in Europe, like Germany, Netherlands, Belgium, France, and I think that's it. I didn't become a famous artist, but I was not bad. I was selling my art a little, and I can say it was working great, but it was working a little for me. A little. Not enough, but a little. And why music? I grew up in music. My family, they are all musicians. My mother is a famous singer in France. My father is a famous composer in Israel. My ex-husband so is a musician. My younger son is a musician. My grandparents, my cousins, my aunt, my uncle, everybody, and myself. I was singing a little in the 80s. I have a lot of demos on cassette where I'm singing, and I didn't really play instruments. I played a little piano, a little guitar. I started drums. Actually, I love playing drums. I think I could have been a musician, but I was not confident enough in myself, with myself, to play in front of people. I was kind of panicking, so that was a problem. But probably playing just for me, for my pleasure, I think that I'd like that. Sometimes I go in my garage where we have drums and I play drums just for myself. I love that. And I want now to learn bass guitar. Suddenly I'm obsessed with guitar bass. So why I'm always talking about Tok Tok, Toki Toki? Why? In the 80s I was a big fan of Tok Tok already. I had their CDs, It's My Life. I loved so much this album. I listened to it like crazy during 1 year, almost every day. Not almost every day, in my Walkman, on my Walkman, you know, before I met my husband. And we used to go a lot to the Palace, and I just realized tonight that Tok Tok played in the Palace in 1984. I used to go to the Palace at the end of 1984 and 1985. In 1986 in Paris they made a concert and my husband was invited and he had only one seat. And it was for the same night when he received the ticket, and I couldn't go. I had to keep the kids, and he wanted to go. I wanted to go, but he wanted to go too, and he loved the concert. I still see the ticket. It was kind of purple with written Tok Tok in across. Oh, I would have cried so much. I wanted to go to see this concert. So why suddenly I listen to Tok Tok again? Yes, again, because during 9 years, since 2005, I couldn't listen to them anymore because it was reminding me the beginning of my story with my ex, and I decided in 2005, okay, no more Tok Tok. So one day in September, last September 2014, I was in my shop and a car passed in front of my shop. And the music was really loud, all the windows opened, and the music really loud. And I was at the door of my shop, and I heard, "Life's what you make it." And I was like, wow, I forgot about this song. How good that is. I should maybe listen to them again. And I thought, oh, no, 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 I'm going to cry again. No, I don't have the time to cry. I don't want to cry. So I said no. I forbid myself to listen to Tok Tok. You imagine? I don't understand. That's crazy. That is not life, you know. When all the pleasures are removed, that's ridiculous. I don't even understand why I did that. And on October 1st, I remember the day, 1st or 2nd, but I remember when exactly because I sent a text message to my son about that, and I still have it on my phone. I had a dream, sorry, I speak like French people. In French, we say, I made a dream, but it's not I made it. So I had a dream. I was in a recording studio. Doesn't happen to me every day, but it happened to me in my life to be in a recording studio. And I was talking to a man, in front of a man. It was not Mark Hollis, it was someone else. And the person wanted to change the bass line of the intro of It's My Life. And I told this guy, no, you can't do that. You don't change this bass line. You are going to ruin everything. It's the best of the song. And and I started to sing the bass line to the guy in my dream. And it awoke me in the middle of the night. I was like, oh my God, where is the bass line? And I went on my phone to check on YouTube. I checked that first the bass line was still there. That's ridiculous. then I wanted to check if the bass line I was singing was the right one, because I didn't even know that I knew the bass line of this song, and I didn't even know that there was a bass line in the intro, and actually there is. It's right, and it's very important in the song. So I remembered it. Obviously, I have a thing for the bass line, and the bass line, what I was singing, was totally right. So I was like, "Wow, I really have a good musical memory." And I don't know why. I starting being obsessed with this song, and I started listening to it the whole day. It's my life, it's my life, it's my life. And and I started thinking, why did I do this dream? That's really strange. It's telling me something, you know. And I didn't remember then that I heard another song a few weeks before, but then it came back. I remember, oh, but I heard something from Tok Tok before. That's maybe why I dreamt of that. I'm not sure, you know. This dream was kind of completely out of the blue. And then I thought, okay, I must start listening to Tok Tok again. And I wanted to go to check, always check if everything is there, to check on the video, Such a Shame, which is my favorite video ever in the whole world. I love this video, but I haven't watched it in a while, so I forgot a little about it, and I watched it and I was like if I was discovering it for the first time. Suddenly I saw things that I didn't see before, and suddenly I was like, oh, that's a painting after a painting after a painting. Every image, every expression of his face, Mark Hollis' face, is a painting, and he's so funny, and he's so attaching in this video. He's so, how to explain that, comforting. And I realized that every time I needed to be comforted, I was going on this video. Why? Why? I still don't get it today. Why? Maybe because it was making me laugh a few minutes. I don't know. It comforts me. It makes me laugh. I find that beautiful. The image, the outfits, the guy, he's beautiful. The voice, the song, London, the building at the back, even the dog, the musicians, they are funny. Everything is funny. Someone on YouTube was saying, "Oh, I didn't know that the Monty Python, yes, we say Monty Pythons were doing videos." And it's true that it has something like a Monty Python. It's very interesting, and I don't know. It made me something. Suddenly, I was in the rush to paint again. I hadn't painted in 9 years. I mean, paint not objects or furniture or things like that. I mean, painting on canvas, all paint. Because it's not the same work. It's not the same. It's not the same when you paint a chair, or when you paint, I don't know, on eggs for Easter, or when you paint, or even when you do a collage on a notebook, or on a matchbox, or that is a job, that is a project which is fun, but it's not like doing a painting on canvas and putting some meaning in the painting, and it's telling you, it's telling a story about you very deep inside. It's not the same work, but painting, I couldn't do them anymore, the paintings. I was in front of my canvas and I had nothing to say. You know, when you have nothing to say, it's like a blank in your mind. And during a very long time, I painted about Jim Morrison and the Doors, and about The Who, Keith Moon more especially, and a little about Jimi Hendrix, but it was because of the music. Jim Morrison, it was more about his poetry, a lot of images with the poetry, and I think that the music of the Doors, Jim Morrison's poetry is more related to the origin of humankind. It's like if he was going back in the primitive source of humankind, and that's what was interesting me. But suddenly, Talk, Mark Hollis, it's not the same. It's something else. Nothing to do with Jim Morrison and the Doors. I'm not, I'm not a groupie. I don't belong to fan clubs and things like that. Even if I go on pages to have information, but I'm not chasing the artist to have an autograph or things like that. That's not my thing. No, I search more for the meaning behind the music and the why they write like this, why they talk about that, why. And Talk music, I would say Mark Hollis music and probably Tim Fries Green, because we must not forget him too. But if you go to the Mark Hollis solo album, everything is there, and Tim Fries Green is not there, but you still have the same feeling. So I think that Mark Hollis is a huge part of the creation, and I think it gives me happiness when I wake up in the morning and I play their music. The morning is more the first albums, the evening are more the last albums, but they give me happiness and love. All the music is love. I can't explain that. I feel like surrounded by the music. I know I look completely crazy right now. I try to explain what I feel. It's not easy to explain feelings, you know. It's like, yes, everything is sensual, loving, happiness, beauty, sharing. It's magical. And you imagine I remain 9 years without painting, without being able to have one idea in mind to put on a canvas. And suddenly I go on such a shame, and woo! Like a whole world in my mind suddenly. I don't know where to start, so much I want to do now. And then I started listening to his last 3 albums, and it was like, oh, okay, I missed something huge. And I realized that this guy was a genius. I didn't know that. I knew he was talented, I knew he was singing really well, I knew he was beautiful, I knew his music was beautiful, that everything was beautiful, but I didn't know that this guy was a genius. He is a genius. And nobody knows. Maybe Caroline knows, but nobody knows. And I thought, I must tell people. People must know about that. Mark Hollis gave me my mojo back, as told a friend of mine. He told me, you got your mojo back. Yes, I did. Thanks to Mark Hollis. And I need to thank him for that. I didn't have a life before. I had a life, yes. I was doing my business. I was in LA. I was happy. I had my son. I had a lot, but not the soul. It was an empty mind. I was only thinking business, money, immigration, sorting papers, and what about my purpose in life? My purpose in life is to paint in music. I always did. When I was a child, I was 8 years old, I was already painting oil painting. That is the first thing I started, oil paint. Someone gave me a box with oil paints and I started, but I needed the music always. I don't know, for me it's linked. It's like if the music tells me what to paint. It's not me, it's the music. These videos help me to share what I felt, and I can speak, of course, of the technique of the painting, when you paint, but also the sound. I don't know if it's going to help some people. That's what I want. I want some people to understand how I'm working, and maybe they can try. Maybe something else is going to inspire them. Maybe it's not going to be music. It can be poetry. It can be a landscape. It can be travel. It can be love. It can be... but I think that any art, whatever it is, music, painting, whatever, must be done with passion. Without passion, if you do a painting just to sell, just to please someone, it's going to be something nice. It's not going to be art, I think. To make a meaningful painting, you have to put a lot of passion in it. I work like that. I never did something without passion. I never loved someone without passion. You know, I prefer being alone than being with someone like, oh, so. No, for me, everything must be the right thing or not. So doing a painting with no purpose, no. As Mark Hollis says, he says, before you play one note, before you play two notes, play one note, and you must have a good reason to play that note. It's the same in painting. If you paint just to paint, you can do it to train yourself, but it's not going to be something like, wow, I don't know. For me, it's like that. Maybe some people can paint without being in a passion state. But even, you know, for example, you look at Gauguin, he used to paint a woman in Tahiti. Probably he was passionate about that. And Claude Monet was painting landscapes. Probably he loved these landscapes. It was inspiring him. And David Hockney, for example, to take someone more recent, David Hockney, who is an English artist, but he lives here in Los Angeles. He was passionate about the big splash, swimming pools, houses, his boyfriends, because he's gay. He was only painting things which were I'm sorry, which were fascinating him. Which had a lot of interest for him. And for me, I think that to paint, I really need to be passionate about what I'm painting. And I rediscovered Tok Tok. I know it sounds ridiculous. Okay, you make paintings about Tok Tok and the music. Yeah, and so what? It's a wonderful music. It's the guy is a genius. Everything is beautiful. Everything was really thought deeply and well done. It was really a great job done, and we can only speak about it with passion, and we can only try to do as well as he did. What is not going to be easy, you know. To arrive at that level of perfection, it's really hard. Anyway, I hope that what I'm saying here is going to help you to understand better why I'm talking about all this. I know that it may look a little like like an obsession. It is. It is. I'm kind of obsessed. Yes, we can say that. But you know, I was so unhappy not to paint during 9 years. It's like I was dead inside, you know. And he gave me life again. He gave me life again. How can I not thank him for that? And you imagine, he wrote, the last album is from 1998, I think. So it's not brand new, but it's still wonderful. It speaks to me. It tells me things. And it makes me feel alive and happy, no matter what happens, you know. No matter what happens, I have this music. I have my painting again. My art is back. I wish that to anybody. If you want to paint things and you don't know what, find what passionates you. Find what you love the most and paint about it. And you will really feel alive and really enjoy life. And it's like if I had found a form of love, you know. It's not physical love. I'm alive again. I think people need to know the importance of this music, the quality, the beauty. And I'm not paid to say that. I'm not paid to say that. Nobody pays me. I don't do that for the money. I do that for the music, for the art. I think for me the music comes first, art second. And when I say art, I mean painting. So music first, painting second. And then for the welfare of mankind, people who would paint or listen to this music wouldn't go and kill other people, you know. We are in a very hard world where people do awful things. If we were listening to things like that more, maybe there would be less pain, not paint, pain in this world. Anyway, I hope I've not been too boring. I hope that it was in a kind of interest for the people who are wondering what is going on there. Is she crazy, this woman? Yes, I'm probably crazy, but I don't care. And the solo album, Mark Hollis solo album, if you listen to it in the silence. I mean, not the CD must play, but no other noises. And that's why I like to listen to it in my bed, because it's quiet and I can only listen to the music. And what is wonderful is that everything is acoustic in this album. So it's true instruments, and you hear the noise of the room, of the people playing. So when you listen to it, you have the feeling that the musicians are in the room with you and playing for you. And I usually start my night by listening to this album, which is wonderful because it's like you have a bunch of gorgeous musicians playing for you in your bedroom. And I love all the songs. All the songs are wonderful. Of course, it's not as happy as It's My Life, but it's gorgeous. I made a wonderful dream on Watershed. I fell asleep and I made an incredible dream on Watershed, which will be another painting. Okay, I'm going to stop. I have blah 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 blah. Talk. I talk too much, but I hope that it was helpful. but I will continue that is a separate video. I will continue the videos about the painting and everything. That is something else. Okay, bye bye.